Okay, so welcome to a non-gamer's orientation to the Great Plateau. You will start the game here in the Shrine of Resurrection, and some story-related cutscenes will happen, and you'll read them and listen to them. And then do remember to put on some clothes, because the first time I played, I did not put on clothes and played naked for the first part of the game. And you will see some chests. Just open them up. That's all you have to do. And then come on out, and the game will show you. You kind of have to climb before you can even leave the Shrine of Resurrection. All that you do to climb is you just walk up to something and keep on walking. Just keep pressing the arrow forward, and your character will climb. So I would recommend that you just kind of play around with the controls here. The left button controls your walking. Like if you push it, he walks. You don't have to press another button. You just move the controller and he walks automatically. And when you let go of the controller, he stops. And the other controller with your right hand is what controls the camera. And if you ever get yourself mixed up so that you've lost your camera angle like this, you just press ZL, which is your pointer finger, the lower pointer finger on your left hand. And that will just, if you get your camera all over like this, just press that and it automatically reorients to right behind you. So you'll get your first look at the Great Plateau here early in the game, and it'll show you kind of the scope of the map, and there's way more map behind you. So this is a pretty huge open world. You can go anywhere and do anything, although at the very beginning you're limited to just the Great Plateau. And I'll show you on my map here. This is the Great Plateau, this area here in the inside of these bounds. So it goes over to here and all along here. I have unlocked some of 2 other regions, so I have more map here. But when you first start the game, you're going to have no map because you have to unlock a tower to get the map for each region. So you won't have a map, but this just gives you a sense of the scope of the place. There's lots to explore and look at. There are 2 different forests. Well, they're sort of beside one another. There's a mountain area and some plains. Lots of woods and ponds and ruins and interesting things to look at as you explore. The Great Plateau is developed to teach you all of the things that you need to know to play the rest of the game. So if you just explore, you don't have to do anything specific. You can explore in any order, in any place, and you will learn all of the things that you need to know to play the game. They call it a tutorial, but this game doesn't really tell you anything. So, and that's really what makes the game great, but I wouldn't really call it a tutorial. It's more of a controlled space for you to discover all of the skills that you need in order to explore the rest of the world. So I just wanted to say a few things about open world games in case you haven't heard of them or don't know what they are. So an open world game is a game that you can play in any order and you can go anywhere in the game. It's not linear, like the game doesn't make you do one thing before you can do the next thing or the next thing. So in this game, you don't have to do anything. The game will not tell you what to do or what to do next. It will nudge you, but it won't tell you what to do. So be on the lookout for nudges and suggestions from the game. It'll come in the form of characters or cutscenes suggesting that you go in a certain direction or you look for a certain landmark, and then you should be able to either look around with your eyes, like maybe they're talking about a big volcano, or maybe they're talking about a castle, or maybe they're talking about a certain kind of mountain. Those sorts of things you just kind of can look around, or you can look in your map once you've unlocked a map. So once you notice nudges or suggestions from the game, you can either follow them or you can ignore them. You don't have to do what the game asks you to do. But if you do want an easier game, I would suggest that you follow the nudges. The nudges are really only at the beginning of the game. And so if you follow the nudges that direct you towards Kakariko Village and anything to do with Impa or Pura, those nudges will make life easier for you if you follow them. But you don't have to. You can go off in, they tell you to go east, but you can go off to the west or the south or the north or any way that you want. I wouldn't suggest going north, but you can if you really want to. So the game will not spell out where Kakariko Village is, so you'll have to look at your surroundings and make just your best guess about where you should head off when the old man tells you what you should do after you get off of the Great Plateau. So once you get to a certain point in the game, all of these nudges will stop, and then you explore the world in any order. And it won't ruin the story. The story will play out the same whether you do it in one order or the other order or no order. So one of the things about open world games is that anything that you can see, you can go to. So let's have a look at this mountain here. See this volcano? I could go there. I can see it. I can go there. Even where the lava is, I could go there if I really wanted to be burned up. I could go here. I could go even past here. See those mountains up there, those hills? I could go there even. Now you can't go there at the beginning of the game because you're stuck on the Great Plateau until you do 4 specific things. But after that, you can literally go anywhere. So one piece of advice I have for you is to talk to everyone. And sometimes it's good to talk to people multiple times because sometimes they'll say different things after you've done more things yourself. So any people that you run into, talk to them. Also, even some of the minor characters have surprisingly rich backstories. So there's a really wonderful but a little bit sad story about a family that plays out in Kakariko Village, and that's definitely worth paying attention to because there's a lot of layers to that story, to the family's history and their current situation. You'll also notice in this game that the characters have routines and jobs, and they'll be at different places at different times of the day, and they'll talk about different things when they're in their job role versus, parenting their kids or hanging out in the evenings. Also, each race has a rich history and a culture that's worth taking note of, just because the writers went to all the trouble of putting all these details in. I think it's nice to kind of pay attention to some of these things. As a general rule, pay attention to everything. The game developers are telling you things for a reason. And there's literally no filler in this game. So anything that you see or hear or notice, it's there for a reason. They may not be telling you things that you need to act on, but they might be telling you things that you should keep in mind. So for example, if someone is saying that those cliffs look interesting, you should probably go check out those cliffs. That means there's something to discover there. If someone tells you about the moon, it's because the moon is important. Everything will tie in together better if you carefully read all of the dialogue and pay attention. You don't have to study it or anything, but every detail is worth noticing. Anything that stands out or looks out of place is definitely worth exploring. And I will now tell you a little bit about the physics. So this world has physics. And so this is a fire that I just lit a few minutes ago. And if I walk in this fire, I will catch fire. And that is not fun for me. I will, see, I catch fire and my hearts are going to start to, if I stayed on fire, my hearts would start to decline. Yeah, see, I'm losing. I just walk away from it and it goes out. But yeah, there's going to be weapons lying around. There was an axe here, but I picked it up. So you want to be on the lookout for weapons. You can, if there's a tree, you can climb the tree to get that apple, for example. I never get the apples on the tall branches. I can never reach them. Just play around with the controls. The game will tell you what to press, but you'll get used to it eventually. Whenever you see something interesting, like, for example, there's that rock in the middle of that island. Go check that out. That looks like there's a weapon on there for you to get. And look, see, there's a little circle there. If ever you see a circle like that, jump into it and something cool will happen. If you see a treasure chest, open it and whatnot. So there's a monster over there. And the thing to know about monsters, if you are combat avoidant, is that monsters have their own kind of domain that they navigate. And so this guy is not going to see me until I come within his range. And so even though I'm right here in the open, he doesn't see me. See there. Now the question mark means he noticed something. If there's a question mark, he might just go back to doing what he was doing. Like, see, he went back. But see, now I'm running away and the question mark is gone. So I don't have to fight him. If he sees me, I can go away and then I can just circle really wide for him so that I don't have to fight him at all. But fighting is really not very hard. So all I'm going to do is press Y here. Now I've got a better weapon than most people, than what you would have on the Great Plateau. On the Great Plateau, you're only going to have at first tree branches. So, you know, you'll have to hit them a couple times. Your tree branch might break, and then you might have to find another tree branch or run away from him until you can find a better weapon. This guy down here, I think he has a weapon. So if you can go, yeah, he has a weapon. So if you can go and get him with your tree branch, then you can take his weapon. Or you could go over here to where I just was, and you can jump and swim over to that island and get that sword that's sticking out of the rock there. And then you can fight these guys. Now, in this game, weapons do break over time, so the more you use them, the more they degrade, and eventually they will break. Oh, look, this guy was cool. Oh, I thought there were a pile of apples here, but those are mushrooms. In general, pick up anything that you find in the world. Now, I can cut trees. Wait, let me not use a flame. Such a strange... Let me just use a regular sword if I have one. I don't really have a regular sword. I'll use this. See? I can cut anything. I could cut down these trees if I wanted to. You can't cut down the really big trees. And then if I cut the log, it'll make me a bundle of wood. I can take those and make fire with it later. Acorns are good for eating and cooking. Apples are good early in the game for... Eventually you'll have more apples than you'll ever be able to use. These guys, they're easy to kill, but they jump. Wait for it to jump, and then get them. That's the So you'll find a couple of tree branches laying on the ground. Those will be your early weapons. Let me get back to what I was talking about. Okay, so, right, anything that stands out or looks out of place is worth exploring. So there's lots to explore over here. You've got some ruins, and you could just sneak around this guy if you were afraid of him, but I would go over and kill him if I were you. And the worst thing that can happen is you would die, and that's, you know, you'll just start over again. So now, the things of note, like structures of note, are towers. So this is a tower. It won't be there when you start the game, but this is a tower. It's blue, which means I've already climbed it and activated it, and that's why I have a map of this area. So whenever you see a tower, it will usually be orange, and then you will climb it, activate it, and it turns blue, and then it unlocks the map. So I've unlocked the map for this area here, and I've unlocked the map for this area here by climbing different towers. So, if you just kind of follow the nudges in the game, it will lead you to that tower right there, and you will figure out what to do. It's very, very, very self-explanatory. It sounds a lot more complicated than it actually is. So if we go down here a little bit further, we will see the other main. Let's see if we can avoid those two over there to the left. I think we can. So over there is a shrine. The shrines will usually be orange if they haven't been activated yet, but obviously I've played this before, so that one has been activated. And shrines, so the towers are, there's a tower for each region of Hyrule. You climb to the top and it unlocks the map for that region. You can go to regions where the tower hasn't been unlocked, but your map for that area will be black. So it's just easier to navigate with the map. So it's good to go find the tower and unlock it as soon as you can. So shrines, on the other hand, you find them, go inside, and there's a puzzle inside. And it's usually like a puzzle involving some type of physics, like rolling balls or like navigating around things and that sort of thing. It's fun. They're really, really fun. When you solve the puzzle, a monk inside gives you a spirit orb. You collect those spirit orbs to get hearts and stamina. So these are the hearts up in the top left-hand corner. Oh, did you see that shooting star? After a shooting star falls, a little pillar will come. Like, if I were to go try to find that, I would have to just follow the pillar of light, and then I'd get a star fragment. But you can't, that won't happen when you're on the Great Plateau. So these monsters down here, these are called bokoblins, and see, they just went to sleep. That's because it's 10 o'clock. They go to sleep at night. But other monsters come out at night. So you do have some skeleton monsters that come. They're really weak and easy. They're easier than these guys to fight, but they're a little bit less predictable. They will follow you around, whereas these guys will just stay in their own areas. What was I saying? Right, shrines. So you solve the shrine to get a spirit orb. The spirit orb gives you either hearts or stamina, and you will learn that as you go along. I don't need to explain that too much more. So the shrines on the Great Plateau, though, there are 4 of them, and each of them gives you a different power to use, and the shrine itself gives you an opportunity to practice using that power. So let me just get in. So the way you kill these guys is you have to get their skull. If you leave their skull, they'll just keep reassembling themselves and coming after you. So you have to hit them once to knock them over, and then you hit them again to get the skull. And then, like any monster that you kill, you just want to go around and gather their monster parts that they leave behind, because they're good for collecting. And then I'm going to just toss this axe, and oh look, there's some Hyrule herbs that were hiding behind that bush. And I'm going to grab that. You can even use this for a weapon, this arm, but I'm not going to. So here's more choo-choo jelly here, and I'm just going to wait for him to do their jump. There we go. Wait for the other guy to do his jump. And it's raining. It won't rain on the Great Plateau when you're there the first time, so you don't have to worry about that. Rain changes the game a little bit because you can't climb anything when it's raining. Oh, it's not raining anymore. It stopped. You can see the weather down in the right-hand corner there where the time is. But when you're on the Great Plateau, the weather will always be fine. So so I was talking about structures. We talked about towers and shrines, and then the other thing I wanted to mention is that towns and villages, there are none on the Great Plateau, but once you get off the plateau, you will start encountering towns and villages, and they are safe places. So for if you're playing low combat, towns and villages are great places to go because you don't have to worry about hiding or what you're going to find around the corner. They're completely safe, and so they're really enjoyable. There's a lot of people in them, so there's lots of people to talk to, and you'll usually get a lot of quests in the towns and villages. Then there's also goddess statues, so let me go and show you one. I'm just gonna sneak around him so that he doesn't wake up and fight me. If he wakes up, that's fine, I'll just fight him. But yeah, so another thing that's interesting is that you can one-shot kill these monsters if you sneak up on them. See how it says sneak strike? Press Y. In one hit. Even if he was super strong, in one hit I would have killed him. So the red ones aren't strong, so there's another sleeping bokoblin in there. I'll just leave him be. I think the goddess statue is up here. Yeah, it is. Oh, crap. Yeah, so I just kind of walked up there because I'm a confident playing, but obviously if you were combat avoidant, you would have not done that, and you would have seen him and snuck around and not had to fight him at all. As you can see, just 4 hits and he's dead, and that's just using a weapon that's readily available here on the Great Plateau. So that's using a number 4 weapon. So the higher the number, the stronger the weapons are. On the Great Plateau, you're only going to find pretty weak weapons. You're also going to find pretty weak monsters. So 4 hits with that one and your red bokoblin is dead. Make sure if you find any pottery that you throw it and smash it, because sometimes there are arrows inside of them. There's arrows in this one, I think. Arrows are hard to come by. No, there's no arrows in that one. There's arrows in one of them anyways. Anyhow, you should smash them all and you'll find the arrows. Oh, look. There's a dragon. Wow. That's Nadra. Isn't she beautiful? She will not harm you. There's no need to fear dragons. Anyhow, I was over here to show you the goddess statue. So these are all over the game. There's one in each village or town, and then there's also some every here and there throughout the game. And this is where you come to pray to hand in your spirit orbs for... I do not yet have 4 spirit orbs. As you can see up in the top right-hand corner there, I have 0 orbs right now. So I can't trade, but that's where you would go to trade to get more hearts or to get more rings on your stamina, like on your stamina rings that I showed you before. So those rings. So I have 2 extra stamina pieces. Okay, so those are goddess statues. So then, there are 3 different kinds of quests. I'm going to open my quest menu. So you'll have these menus which you open. There are 2 menus. One is opened with your plus button on the front of your controller. That's over on the right hand side, and then the other one is opened with your minus button, which is over on the left hand controller. The minus button opens your map, which you can zoom in and zoom out. You can stamp your map with different places that you want to return to, like I have some stamps here, some pins. and some stamps, and you'll be taught about all of this in the Great Plateau, so you'll know all of this already. But then there's also directions. See at the top, it says runes is L. So L shows me my runes. These are all the powers that I have. So I have bombs, magnesis, and yeah, you'll learn about those on your Great Plateau. And then the right button gives me my map. Press the right button again and I get my album, and you'll learn about that later on as well. So the plus button is where most of the most helpful menus are. So as you can see, there's a left and a right side of that too. So when we just press the plus button, you come up to your inventory. And so starting over here on the far side, you've got all of your weapons. You will have fewer weapons in this. And then you scroll through those and you come to your bows and arrows. Then you've got your shields. Then you've got your armor. This mask is really worth getting. It is part of the downloadable content, so I highly, highly, highly recommend that you get the DLC. It is, I can't remember how much money it is. It might be $30 or $40, but it really improves the game, particularly the use of this mask, if you want to be a low combat player. So this mask helps you not fight very many fights at all. So I highly, highly recommend, and I also highly recommend that you go looking for this right off the plateau so that you don't have to fight very much. And I can help you with that if you need some help. Then you've got, these are all of the food, these are all of the materials that I have found, including fish that I caught, bugs that I caught, and monster pieces. So as you saw, when I killed those monsters, I went around and gathered up their pieces, and it's all here in my inventory. And then this is food that I've cooked. And then these are other items that you get. So then over here we have the system, which the most important part here is the save, but it's also worth going into the options. If you have any amiibo cards, you want to make sure that the default of this is that it's off. So you want to make sure that you turn it on. And then the other thing that I do is I go and I change my camera sensitivity to fast. I don't know if you want to leave it at normal. I just find that sometimes when I'm fighting, I'm trying to flip my camera around and I can't see where I'm at. So I tend to put my camera on fast. Although for videos, maybe I should set it to normal, because sometimes that is a little nauseous. You can change any of these things that you want to, but I generally leave them all the same. Yeah, so the save, obviously you press save and it'll save your progress so far. If you're about to do anything risky, I recommend that you save first so that if you die while doing it, you can come back to this state, which saves you things like arrows or food that you've eaten. So if I'm going to fight a really big battle, I will save and then go fight the battle. And then if I eat all my food and use all my arrows and still die, I can go back to the last save and all my food is back and all of my arrows are back and I can try again fresh. So it's a good idea to save before you do anything risky, but the game auto saves every once in a while anyways. So if you do die, like I sometimes die walking across cliffs because I'm not good at walking in a straight line, the game just puts you on the edge of the cliff so that you can try again. So really you don't have to be too worried about dying at all. But in here, it does tell you all of the controls. So I used to go into this a lot when I was starting because it's easy to forget which button does what until you've used it for a while. Right, I was going to talk about quests. So there are different kinds of quests. We have our main quests, which are the two big ones are to destroy Ganon. That's like the main point of the whole game. And you don't even have to think about that anytime soon. You really don't even have to do it ever. My daughter has been playing the game for over a year now, and she still hasn't fought Ganon. She's just having fun doing what she's doing. Then there's freeing the divine beasts, and you don't even have to think about this yet either. It just sounds too overwhelming. Once you get to the point where you're getting to feel confident with the game, you will naturally want to do some of this, so just leave it for now. But this one, the captured memories, and so you'll have like the isolated plateau, which is where you kind of have to do what the old man tells you to do on the plateau. Eventually, you're going to have to head towards Kakariko Village. You don't have to, but the game is going to nudge you towards Kakariko Village, and I would suggest that you go that way. These are the main quests for you to pay more attention to, so just ignore Destroy Ganon and just ignore Free the Divine Beasts, and then whatever is next underneath of it, that's the thing to kind of work on next if you want to, or just ignore it if you want to. It's fine. So, all right, I was telling you about all of the different quests. So those are the main quests. Then if you go over to the side here, we've got shrine quests. So these are quests that unlock a shrine, which I've already told you about. So you'll have to follow these clues, like for this one, when the 3 summit trees become one, turn your back to them and head toward the sea. A trial encased in stone awaits you there. And so I've already solved that one. That's why it's grayed out. But this one here, I haven't. So I have to figure out what this puzzle means, what this clue means, and then figure out where it's at and go and do it. And then there are side quests. These are the most fun part of the whole game. So you can play the whole game just doing side quests if you want. You can ignore everything else and have a lot of fun. These ones that say EX, these are part of the DLC, the downloadable content. And a lot of these are just like fancy outfits and things that I don't really care about. But the one thing that is really worthwhile getting is this one, the Ancient Mask one. So follow those and you'll get the Majora's Mask that helps you to not fight. But these are basically, the side quests are, other than these EX ones, which you get when you buy the DLC, these are things that you run into people and you talk to them and they'll give you a quest. If they have this little exclamation point, see over towards the center of the screen where it says Robbie's Research, and then underneath of it, it says Pura, and there's a red exclamation point. Any people who you run into in the world, if they have this exclamation point, that means they have a quest for you. So go talk to them, but really talk to everybody. It's worthwhile. So side quests are completely optional, but they're very fun. Do the ones that you want to do. Skip the ones that seem hard or not enjoyable. I never do horse-related quests because I absolutely hate riding horses. There's plenty to do, and the game keeps track of them, so you can come back to them later if you want to. They might make more sense or become easier as you progress in the game. So, do any ones that sound fun. And sometimes I'll do them as soon as I get them, and sometimes I'll talk to somebody, but I'm in the middle of something else. So the quest just sits here and waits for you. You can always come back to it later. You don't usually have to take notes for quests because all of the information is kept in your quest log. So especially if it's a multi-step quest, all of the information will just get updated as you go through all of the steps. Sometimes characters will give you extra hints that are not in the quest log, so it is a good idea to pay attention to characters who are talking specifically about your quest. Sometimes multiple people will have things to say about one topic. The other thing that I wanted to say is that any hints that the painter, whose name is Palenko, any hints that he gives you, they don't show up in any log anywhere. So write down what he says because he gives some good, important hints. My next point says, don't be afraid of dying. Nothing bad happens if you die. You just come back to life wherever your last autosave was. Also, be curious. If you're curious and explore things, you will be rewarded with Korok leaves and Korok seeds, and you will see what they are as you play. The other thing I wanted to say is that you can run away from almost any battle. So let's go do a battle so that you can see what I mean. Where are some monsters? Oh, I wanted to show you a little tip over here. So remember over here when I was talking about that shrine? And remember that there are these monsters down here? Well, you can imagine what will happen. Hooray, free monster parts. So that's what I mean by physics. Where are the other monster parts? Okay, I'm not going to waste time looking for them, but oops. Oh, that's the Boca Club. I don't need that. Okay, so let's find a monster to run away from so that you can see. So these guys have bows and arrows, so I don't want to run away from them because they can shoot me while they... I'm just going to steer clear of them, but let's see if I can get these guys' attention. I'm going to whistle. Hey guys! Oh. So, see, they go from question mark to exclamation point. Exclamation point is when you're in trouble. Yep, there we go. They're going to go grab their weapons, and they're going to come after me. And I'm going to run away. Oh, they threw a barrel. And so, see, that's pretty easy for me to run away from them. That sound, the ticking clock and the violin music, means that someone is after me. But they'll only go so far. So see how the music stopped? If I were to go back there, that guy's walking back home. Yep, see. There he is. So when they threw the barrel, that exploding barrel, there was an exploding barrel here, a bunch of them. Somebody threw one, and it actually blew their own selves up. One of the safest ways to fight monsters without actually fighting them is to throw bombs on them once you have your bomb rune, which is very early in the game. So I'm going to go up here, and I'm going to... These guys can't climb, so you're always safe. See that? He's almost dead now. And he has no idea where that bomb came from because he's not very smart. And now he's dead. So that's a pretty good way to kill monsters without fighting them. You have to be patient. Sometimes it can take... That was pretty quick, but sometimes it can take a long time to kill monsters with bombs like that. And these skull heads are monster hideouts. There's usually explodable barrels inside of them. Those. So if I were to hit that barrel with a fire arrow, there's a fire arrow right there. There you go. So one of them is dead already. The other one's probably going to go get his weapon and then come looking for me. And if I stay really still, he might not find me. Nope, it looks like he's not going to come looking for me, so I got that one. Now what I could do is circle really wide here. Climb. He can hear me. That's why you see the question mark there. It's because he can hear me. Now a headshot will kill a monster, so if I can get him right in the head, it will usually get him a shot. There you go. Didn't mean to use my fire arrows. So now there's only one left here. And he's inside. And he's in there having a great old time. Oops. See what I mean? You have to be patient when you're using bombs. See, he sees me now. He's gonna start throwing rocks at me. The blue ones are a little tougher than the red ones. So another thing that I can do here is I'm going to use a regular arrow here, and okay, so I left the game going while I paused, and now it's thundering and lightning. But I can go and collect these. And so those are some ways that you can fight without taking too many risks. Every one of these skull caves has, well, maybe not every single one, but most of them has one of those fire lanterns hanging that you can shoot down with your arrows. So we can just go and, oh, so here's something that you don't need to know on the Great Plateau, which is that in thunderstorms, anything metal will attract thunder and you can get electrocuted. So you want to change all of your weapons to wooden weapons and wooden shields so that you won't get electrocuted or, you know, struck by lightning. Yeah, so on the Great Plateau, you will only see bokoblins, which are these monsters that I've been fighting. Choo-choos, which are those blue blobs, they're super easy. Stalkobos, or I forget what they're called, but the skeleton ones, which are, you just have to kill, you just have to hit the skull. And keys, which look like bats, and they're also, you just have to hit them. It's really easy. One hit for a keys, and it's dead. There is one other monster on the plateau, but I'm going to keep that one secret. You can outrun him, which is what I thought I was trying to show. Did I show outrunning? I can't remember anymore. But yes, you can get actually pretty close to monsters and still outrun them. Let me find one that's still alive here. Right, there were some over by the forest. I think there were two over here, weren't there? So I'm going to get pretty close to this guy. Outrun him. They have bows and arrows, they'll be shooting at you, but they have terrible aim. So see how he turned around already? They actually have terrible, terrible aim, so even if he did have a bow and arrow, look, they're afraid of the lightning. So all that you'd have to do is kind of like just run like this. You can tell by the music. When the music stops, nobody is coming after you. So, just listen to the music. I'm just normal running here. I'm not even pressing B to run fast. They will only follow me so far. They're following further than I thought. And they're heading back. I'm going to re-record that so that you can hear me say it, because I think I was too far away from the microphone. So even without... So this guy, on the other hand, he is going to keep following me. The Stal Coblin will follow me until I start to climb. But I'm not running, so I can run faster by pressing B, but I'm not even doing that. And I can even make some mistakes and still get away. Hey, come chase me again. And even if he gets me, it's only like 3/4 of a heart. See, he's not a very good fighter. I'm not even trying very hard here. I'm not running and I'm not fighting. Let's go get the other one, and I'll show you what happens when you die. Nanner, nanner, nanner. Come here. Oh, first, I'm going to show you what happens. Let me get rid of him, because I want to show you what happens when you wear Majora's Mask. Okay, so I can tell from the music that he's forgotten about me. He's going back. Okay, I'm going to put on my Majora's Mask. Oops, wrong button. Put on Majora's Mask. I look pretty ugly, but look at what happens when he sees me. As long as I'm not aggressive towards him, he's just going to be curious. I know. You think I'm funny looking? You should get a mirror. Hi, buddy. Let's go for a walk. And he won't fight me. I believe I can even take out a weapon. But as soon as I start to swing it, he will attack me. And that's when you can see what happens when I die. Oh, I accidentally killed him. Well, let's go find another one. Where will we find more? Wait a second. I thought there was a camp around here. No. Did I miss it? Oh yeah, I did miss it. It's over this way. Yep. So this is what happens if you die. Hey, buddy. I keep killing people by accident. I'm just gonna take off my mask. That way they will attack me. Boy. Oh, you're such a strong fighter. So at this point, if I wanted to live, I could eat something and it would restore my hearts. Like eating this would restore that many hearts. Eating this would restore all my hearts. But I want to die. Well, it's actually hard to die in this game, so you're gonna have to trust me. It would just say game over and it would bring me to my last save and I could start from there and make different choices that don't involve my death. And that's it. There's the Great Plateau in a very long nutshell. Thanks for watching.